feels good. So.
I'm still learning how to use my little thermostat thing in case I
Yeah.
think I got it.
Yeah.
But that and then it just stopped.
Yeah. That's what I thought when I lived there for the summer. Years ago. I think it's fun having chapel outside because then you can like spy on people who like who usually come but aren't, and then you're just like looking at them. We no one in my house went, but we had one of our roommates was having a hard day, so we ended up just going to get her hair clothes stuff, and then we just had it at the house instead of going to the concert. But that was good. Yeah.
Good morning. It's one of these days where the full sound system feels a little like overkill. It's kind of a quiet, gentle day out here. Also a beige day we were discussing right before chapel. Just kind of the beigeness of the sad grass and the overcast. So we're going to get a little contemplative today, and we're going to talk about hope, which feels like a great thing to talk about in the midst of other beige things around us. So we are glad that you are here in person and joining us online, and as always, know that you are welcome here, whoever you are, whoever you know yourself to be, whoever you are becoming. If you are in person with us, make sure you have a song sheet, which gives you both of our songs for today. There's also some information at the top, a QR code that'll take you to all things college ministries, and then a next announcement about our fall ministry fair, which is taking place this next Monday morning, the 18th, during fika time, so during chapel break. Come grab a cup of coffee and then head inside to the CFL lobby, where we have a number of different congregations who will be represented from around the area. A super opportunity to get to know some churches in the area, especially if you are still kind of looking for a place to call home as for worship and for ministry. Let's see, other announcements. Friday chapel, it will be back inside. This Friday we are blessing student workers. So whether that's work study, internship, your local job in town, if you are a student worker of any variety, we want to bless you in that vocation, and so that will be a part of our time together on Friday. A couple extra things coming up this weekend. This Saturday is Decorah Pride, and Luther College and College Ministries will have a variety of presences during Pride festivities. So that day at 1 o'clock, Saturday at 1 o'clock, College Ministries is involved with other faith leaders in the community in a prayer service that celebrates and laments with our LGBTQIA siblings, lifting up the sacredness of love and honoring the pains that have marked their journey along the way. So that is at 1 o'clock outside Decorah UCC. We're still looking for a couple of readers, so if you're interested in participating, let me know. And then Luther is joining in Luther Pride in a parade presence, so 2:30 at the end of Water Street. We can't get through.
Oh.
All right, friends, that's a first. And I feel like, Gabrielle, we need to edit. And I feel like I need to just move on, because that was one of the most awkward and terrifying things that has happened in a chapel service, and I don't quite know how to bounce back for that. So while I take a sip of my coffee, I'll follow up with some Pride-related announcements at the end of worship. But for now, how about we just skip ahead to the part where I invite you to stand and to get one with nature in a healthier way than inhaling a yellow jacket. which did not sting me, by the way. And let's get grounded and centered and resettle with a good deep breath. And as we begin today, focus on talking about hope and our hope in God. Let's join together in our opening hymn on the front side of your hymn sheet, O God, our help in ages past. Our fall chapel theme is growing in faith, hope, and love. Last week we talked here or inside about faith, and today we're going to talk about hope. So in a different life, I was an English major, and so today I want to begin with a few lines from a famous poem by Emily Dickinson, where she writes, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all." What is your image of hope? Is it a thing with feathers, a thing in the sky? Does it feel like a sense of calm deep within your soul? In your life right now, does hope feel so close that you could reach out and touch it? Or does hope feel dim and distant, a shadow just out of reach? I think a lot about hope these days, and what it means to have hope, and what hope looks like and feels like and sounds like. For me, hope is at the center of my faith. More than a decade ago, in an interview that would set things in motion for me to take a call to a congregation here in Decorah, a bishop asked me to talk about hope. 1 Peter 3:15 says, "Always be ready to make your defense to anyone who demands from you an accounting for the hope that is in you." And so there I was on the spot, asked to make such an accounting for the hope that was in my heart. And here is some version of what I said. I am a person who is incredibly sensitive to the needs and the griefs of the world. I am a person keenly aware of the ways that this world does not yet reflect God's hopes and dreams. When I read the news each day, I have a choice. I can choose despair, which might be my default position, or, with God's help, I can choose hope. And I told them, I persist in faith because I need to be able to choose hope. Everything about that statement there from 10 years ago is still true for me. Perhaps, though, the intensity of all of it has ramped up a bit. The world is more intensely difficult than it was 10 years ago, or so it feels to me. I feel in myself with each passing year that I grow yet more intensely sensitive toward need and injustice and grief. And I find myself day by day more intensely invested in the work of hope as a counter to despair. The writer of Hebrews will tell us that faith is the assurance, the conviction of things not seen. And the writer of Hebrews will also tell us that we are to hold fast to the confession of our hope without wavering, because God, who has promised, is faithful. Hope, as it turns out, is closely related to faith. Faith is the act of believing, and hope is the substance of our belief. Hope requires trust and curiosity and imagination and creativity. Hope is what gives voice to our deepest longings and what binds us to God's promises for the future. Hope is created when we give space to name the world as it is and then to construct a vision of the world as it could be. Hope gives us permission to believe that this future vision of the world is not just a thought exercise, but actually a reality that simply has yet to be manifest among us. I love talking about hope. Hope is what connects me to God's promises of reconciliation and resurrection, justice, mercy, peace, provision. I live each day supported by my faith to carry a banner for hope in the world. On my good days, hope looks a lot like beautifully naive optimism. On my good days, hope looks like cheerfulness and delight and excitement for the future. On my bad days, hope looks a lot more like grit. Looks like defiance, setting my jaw, clenching my teeth, grasping at hope to be the thing that gets me through. And sometimes hope and cynicism fight for dominance. Hope is not naive. Hope is strong. Hope is our strength in our good days, and hope is our strength to get through the bad ones. The artist and author Jan Richardson writes that hope is not always comforting or comfortable. She says hope asks us to open ourselves to what we do not know, to pray for illumination in this life, to imagine what is beyond our imagining, to bear what seems unbearable. She says hope calls us to keep breathing when beloved lives have left us, to turn toward one another when we might prefer to turn away. She says hope draws our eyes and hearts toward a more whole future, but propels us also into the present, where Christ waits for us to work with him toward a more whole world now. Dear ones, whether you can wrap your head around the mechanics and mystery of resurrection or not, this central image in Christianity of life emerging from places of death, of rebirth and surprise, of the worst things not being the final things, this resurrection imagery gives us something to hang our hopes on. It gives us a promise outside of ourselves that the world can be more and better than this. This summer, I had the great privilege to be part of the ensemble cast of our local community theater's production of the musical The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is a refashioning of the Disney film from a bunch of years ago. At a particularly despairing and critical moment, the characters Esmeralda and Phoebus, facing imminent execution, sing not of their fear or of their grief, but of their continued and undying hope for the future of the world. Their song offers up a challenge to the audience that we might be the ones not only to keep the flames of hope alive, but that we might be the very ones to create this better world for which they sing. And so I invite you to receive some of the words from this song as a closing prayer. Someday, when we are wiser, when the world's older, when we have learned, I pray someday we may yet live to live and let live. Someday life will be fairer, need will be rarer, and greed will not pay. God speed this bright millennium on its way, and let it come someday. Someday our fight will be won. Then we'll stand in the sun that bright afternoon. Till then, on days when the sun is gone, we'll hang on. We'll wish upon the moon. Let it come. One day. Someday. Soon. With God's help. May it be so. Amen. Our closing hymn today is on the back of your hymn sheet. Come now, O Prince of Peace. I invite you to stand for this song and our final blessing. Faith, hope, and love, these persist. May we hold fast to the confession of our hope without wavering, because God, who has promised, is faithful, now and to the end of the age. Amen. And as we prepare to go, the quick reminder just that Decorah Pride is Saturday with prayer service at 1, parade line up at 2:30, parade at 3, party in the park at 3:30. Watch for info around and join us for Fika and Ministries Fair on Monday. Now, dear ones, go in peace, journey in faith and hope. Thanks be to God.